We often talk about immigration policies as just numbers on a spreadsheet or dry political talking points, but for today's explainer, we're zooming in on what actually happens when sudden, sweeping legal changes collide with real human lives. We're going to unpack Japan's dramatic overhaul of its business manager visa system, and we'll do it by looking at one family desperately fighting for their right to stay in the only home they've ever known. I want you to hear this devastating plea from Manish Kumar, a father who was just told to uproot his entire life. He asks, "My children were born and raised in Japan. They only understand Japanese. What am I supposed to do?" You can literally hear the sheer panic of a parent in those words. For him, this isn't some theoretical debate. It's a very real crisis. His wife and daughter have been reduced to tears, facing a future that's suddenly been ripped right out from under them by an abrupt bureaucratic decision. Section 1. 30 years in Japan. To really grasp the gravity of this situation, we need to understand how deeply rooted this family is. Manish Kumar has lived in Japan for 30 years. 30 years. That is an entire lifetime of immersing himself in the culture, paying taxes, and building a community. He didn't just arrive yesterday, His whole adult life is anchored in Japanese society. And for 18 of those 30 years, he successfully owned and operated an Indian restaurant in Saitama Prefecture. Think about the sheer grit it takes to keep a small business running for nearly 2 decades. It takes dedication, a loyal customer base, and a real connection to the local neighborhood. This wasn't just a restaurant to them. It was the absolute foundation of the Kumar family's livelihood. Section 2. The family's impossible choice. And this is where the story takes a harsh turn. Without any warning, the Immigration Services Agency abruptly rejected his business manager visa renewal. The timeline they gave him? Just 2 weeks. Imagine that. They gave a man with a 30-year history in the country just 14 days to shut down an 18-year-old business, pack up his family, and get out. It's an absolute logistical and emotional nightmare. And the hardest part? The kids. His children only know Japan as their home. They exclusively speak Japanese. Their friends, their education, their entire social circle, it's all completely Japanese. Now they're being ordered to go back to India, a country that is entirely foreign to them. Forcing them to relocate to a place where they don't even speak the language, well, it's basically a complete erasure of their identity. Section 3. A sudden visa crackdown. So why is this happening to the Kumars? To understand that, we have to look at the massive systemic changes happening in the background. The new rules mapped out for October 2025 have caused a staggering 96% drop in business manager visa applications. We're talking about a plummet from roughly 1,700 applications a month down to a mere 70. A drop that sharp tells us the gates haven't just been closed, they've been slammed shut and deadbolting. Now, Japanese authorities argue these sweeping changes are entirely necessary. According to the government, there was a growing issue with people using this specific visa as a loophole, basically an easy backdoor to secure long-term residency without ever intending to run a genuine contributing business. So from their perspective, these reforms are designed purely to protect the integrity of the immigration system. Section 4. Japan's new strict rules. But what exactly changed to cause that 96% drop? Well, the goalposts were moved drastically. The financial bar for small business owners was raised 6-fold. The minimum capital requirement shot up from 5 million yen to an incredible 30 million yen. For a small family-run restaurant, generating that kind of capital overnight is nearly impossible. On top of that, there's a strict new mandate requiring them to employ at least one full-time local worker, whereas before, hiring staff was optional if you met the capital requirement. And then there's the language barrier. A recent KPMG report highlights that applicants, or their full-time employee, must now demonstrate high-level Japanese proficiency, typically around the JLP N2 level. That's advanced business-level Japanese. If you're a hard-working entrepreneur who's successfully run a neighborhood shop for years without needing perfect corporate Japanese, this one new rule can suddenly render you totally ineligible to stay. Alongside those massive capital and language barriers, authorities rolled out a rigid, multi-step scrutiny process. You now have to prove formal management experience, survive intense tax audits, and get your business plans professionally certified. Oh, and informal setups? Completely gone. Home offices are now reportedly banned. You absolutely must secure and pay for a separate, legitimate commercial office space, which just adds another massive overhead cost for folks already struggling to hit that new 30 million yen requirement. Section 5. The fight to stay. Which brings us right back to the Kumar family. They've essentially become the human face of that 96% statistical drop. But importantly, they aren't fighting alone. Their story triggered massive community support. At a recent protest rally in Tokyo, it was revealed that 53,000 signatures were submitted to the Immigration Services Agency. That's 53,000 people demanding a reversal of these rules, arguing that families who have spent decades contributing to society shouldn't just be discarded overnight because of a sudden policy shift. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to ponder today. When governments drastically tighten the numbers and rewrite the rules to fix a systemic loophole, what happens to the human lives, like the Kumars, who end up paying the ultimate price? Are we sacrificing deeply rooted, contributing members of our communities in the name of administrative efficiency? It's definitely a question worth asking as this situation continues to unfold. Thanks for joining this explainer.